Hi, this is Bruce Buffer, your voice of the Octagon, and you're listening to MMA Mental.
Hello and welcome to this week's MMA Mental podcast. I've tried to bring the show back. I'm going to be still focusing on post-fight interviews, but I'm going to put the interviews together and release a show each time there's an event. So this week we'll be focusing on UFC 179. I've managed to get an interview with two of the guys who fought on the card, one on the prelims, one on the main card, and both picked up victories. I've got Tony Martin, who picked up his first UFC victory against Fabricio Camões. He talks to us a little bit about the fight, what it was like to fight in Brazil against a Brazilian, and talks us through the submission at the end, obviously getting the submission. And then we're joined by Beneil Dariush, who took his UFC record to 3-1, picked up his most impressive win to date with a dominating performance over Carlos Diego Ferreira. He talks about the fight, but he also confirms who he would like to face next, and he is looking for a rematch with Ramsey Nijem. Hope you enjoy both these interviews. I'm now joined by Tony Martin. Tony Martin's coming off of a win against Fabricio Camões at UFC 179 via first round submission, taking his record to 9-2 and his UFC record to 1-2. Tony, thank you very much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
And congratulations on getting your first UFC victory.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, going into the fight, you were 0-2 in the UFC. Did you feel any added pressure?
I didn't feel any added pressure because I put a lot of pressure on myself to win every fight. So, I knew it was obviously a must-win fight to stay in the UFC. So I knew the fight had some big implications into my career. But overall, I always put a lot of pressure on myself to win every fight. So nothing any more pressure than my other fights.
What was it like facing a Brazilian in Brazil?
Oh, it was awesome. I was definitely shocked to see so many people in the stands for the first fight of the night. Usually it's a little bit more empty, and being there, it was actually a lot more warming after the fight than I thought it would originally be.
Now, Camões is a very experienced fighter. In one of his early fights, he lasted 25 minutes with Anderson Silva, and obviously that was mentioned in the commentary as well. What was your views on him as an opponent?
Well, I knew he was very experienced. He's been grappling since he was about 12 years old, so that's about 25 years or roughly that he's been grappling. So I knew he was at a very high level, and I knew he was very experienced, but I'm very confident in my skill set, and I just felt like, everything's been coming together lately, so I knew it was going to be a good fight for me.
Now, you landed a really big takedown early on. Talk us through the takedown.
Well, I was just concentrating on being very calm and not overexerting myself in the beginning of the fight, and just being very patient. And then I saw that every jab I was throwing that he was counter-punching with multiple punches, so I knew if I just faked out a jab that he would throw, and I just ducked under and got in deep, and then finished the takedown.
Now, you were working for the Kimura for quite a while. Were you worried time would run out?
No, I was definitely. He tried to Kimura me, and I re-Kimura'd him off of his Kimura, so I knew I had it, and I had the arm out. And we were at a weird spot on the cage for a little bit, so I kind of pulled in the guard and then rolled through, and I was on it for a while, and we were fighting over, about a half inch over that Kimura for almost, about a minute and a half, and I knew there was a lot of time in the clock, so I was just being patient, waiting for the opportunity to finish.
Now, there was about 45 seconds left when he tapped. How did it feel?
Well, it felt great. I knew that he was kind of half tapping a couple of times, and I knew he wanted to tap, and he was just trying to fight out that last 45 seconds, and I gave it a little extra push, and he tapped, and it felt great. It was kind of unreal feeling.
How did you feel after the fight? Any knocks? When would you like to get back into the octagon?
No, I feel great. My body felt great. I'm not sore at all. I took this week off, and last week off, and started back up today. So I hope to try to fight I'm trying to fight on the December 12th or 13th card, but I'm not 100% yet on anything of that because I'm getting married and I'm heading out December 17th to the Bahamas. So I either got to fight before then or not until probably March.
Well, congratulations on the marriage and good luck with the marriage as well, with everything.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Now, the lightweight division's so stacked, and it's talked about, I think it's got the biggest roster out of all the divisions. Any idea on who you'd like to face next?
I don't have any specific opponents on my mind. I just need to, I'm still pretty disappointed in my first 2 fights in the UFC. I feel like I could have easily won both of those fights. And, I'm just a little disappointed at being 1 and 2. And so the biggest thing on my mind is just to keep getting better. And every time I get in the cage is to keep improving as a mixed martial artist. And I just need to start stringing together some wins, and then eventually, winning takes care of everything.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. Congratulations on getting that first UFC victory.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it for having me on here.
My pleasure. Now, before we let you go, Tony, I'd like to give you a chance to do any shout-outs. So is there anyone you'd like to thank, any sponsors, trainers, and also if you want to mention your Facebook and your Twitter?
Yeah, absolutely. My new team over here in Boston, Fit Yatong and Mark Delagrati's gym, has really helped out a lot in the performance compound in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Brock Larson over there running that gym. And then all my teammates. And then Hayabusa. And, there's been Dethrone really helped me out this camp a lot. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm an MMA fight prep. So, yeah, that's pretty much it right there.
Well, I look forward to seeing you step in the cage again, Tony.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm now joined by Beneil Dariush, who dominated Carlos Diego Ferreira at UFC 179, taking his record to 9-1 and his UFC record to 3-1. Congratulations on what I thought was your most impressive UFC performance to date.
Thank you. I kind of agree with you. It's got to be one of the better ones so far, in the UFC at least.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And thank you very much for agreeing to come and have another chat with me as well.
Yeah, pleasure's mine.
Now, you were due to face Alan Patrick, and he pulled out. How did the change of opponent affect your training and game plan?
What's nice was they're both jiu-jitsu black belts and good strikers, so similar backgrounds. The only difference was the stance. Alan Patrick's southpaw, Carlos Diego is orthodox. So that was a little tricky. But we kind of made the adjustments. Since I had 30 days, it wasn't so bad. I think I had 26 days with the switch. So it was a good. It was more than enough time to adjust.
Now, Ferreira was undefeated going into this fight, and he had beaten an opponent who had beaten you. What were your views on him as an opponent?
I was excited. I'm always motivated. I'm always training, but like when they told me I'm gonna fight Carlos, and knowing that he beat Ramsey, that motivated me even more. So it was great.
Now, you looked very good on the feet in the first round. Did you feel you had a big advantage on the feet?
I did. I felt like I would have the advantage on the feet, but only if I was fighting intelligently. Because one thing he does have more than I do was power, and I could feel it. He hit harder than me, but I knew I was faster, and I knew if I could keep my head movement going, I would be able to stay out of his range, and I'd be able to land and get out of the way.
Now, Ferreira was pushing forward for the takedown, but you were able to take him down. How pleased were you with your first round performance?
The first round was perfect. I got to do everything. I was able to show my wrestling, show my striking, and show my jiu-jitsu a little bit. The most frustrating thing about the Ferreira fight was the fact that I wasn't able to finish. With all my fights, whenever I go to the ground, it usually takes me about a minute or two to finish the fight. I'm able to control, pass to side control or mount, or take the back and finish the fight. But with him, I think it took me all the way till the third round to get to side control, and then he was able to escape. Really tough guy. I agree when you say he's the best guy I've faced so far.
Now, in round two, you continue to control Ferreira on the feet and on the ground. You were able to dictate where the fight took place. How confident were you that you had won the first 2 rounds?
The first round, I wasn't so sure, because he landed some shots, and at the end he had a flurry, but I got the takedown, so it could have gone either way. But when my corner was what told me, they're like, as soon as I got back, my corner was like, "You won that round." So that's when I was sure. Where my corner was, they were so sure about me winning the round that it kind of reinforced me. So I felt like for sure I got the rounds.
Now, once again in the third round, you control most of the third round as well. Did anything surprise you about how the fight played out?
I was surprised how good his jiu-jitsu was. Even though on paper his jiu-jitsu was really good, I really thought my jiu-jitsu was going to be way better, and I was going to be able to kind of run through him on the ground. But that just tells me that I need to go back and work on my jiu-jitsu more. And then with the stand-up, his power again. I knew he had a lot of power, but it still surprised me. When he hit me, it definitely got me rocked one time in the third round.
How confident were you that you'd get the nod?
Well, as soon as the went to a decision, I was pretty sure I won the fight. But I'm like, man, it's Brazil. You never know. And then when I heard the first referee say 30-27, I was like, man, that's got to be me. I won the rounds, you know. So I was pretty confident when they said 30-27.
How did you feel after the fight? And ideally, when would you like to get back into the octagon?
Ideally, I'd like to get back right away. And after the fight, I felt fine. I was a little disappointed for not getting the finish. That was about it. I've had so many finishes in my fights. It feels weird when I don't get one.
Now, in my opinion, this was your biggest career win. Who would you like to face next?
I've asked for Ramsey. Maybe this is my second time. I've asked for Ramsey, but let's see what the UFC says. I'll fight anybody. I really don't mind. The lightweight division has, I think, over 100 guys, so there's a lot of choices. My ideal choice would be Ramsey. I'd like to get a chance to get that victory.
Well, thank you very much for giving me your time, and congratulations on a fantastic performance at the weekend
No
just
problem.
gone.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Before we let you go, Beneil, I'd like to give you a chance to do some shout-outs. So anyone you'd like to thank, sponsors, trainers, and also if you want to shout out your Facebook and your Twitter.
Sure. My Facebook is Beneil Dariush, and my Instagram is also Beneil Dariush, and my Twitter is Beneil Dariush_. And as far as shout-outs go, I'd just like to thank my team, Kings MMA, and my teammates. I'm really lucky to have such a strong team.
Well, I can't wait to see you step back in the cage, Beneil. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. You have a good one.
Thank you very much for listening to those interviews. I hope you enjoyed that. For more post-fight interviews, please follow me on Twitter at MMA Mental. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to check me out, I'm on Facebook under Ray Thompson.